done plenty of crazy wigs before, but there is one detail with Momo that absolutely terrifies me. Spikes. And not just any spikes, tiny spikes. You'd think at this point in my cosplay career I'd be confident doing spikes, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that this seemingly simple style scares the crap out of me. But I figured it out, so here's how I did it. For my base wig, I went with an Arda Bucky in Spanish brown, but a couple things about this. This is a lace front, but you really don't need to use a lace front for Momo. I got this wig on a discontinued sale, so I have it and I'm gonna use it. But also, yes, discontinued sale means that they don't make this wig in this color anymore, but that's also fine because this is not the ideal base wig for Momo at all. Mostly because it has a center part that cannot be moved. Like, look at this. Look at the shape of this lace. It's definitely not ideal, but I should be able to just skew the entire wig to the side a little bit, and that should be fine. But you could totally use a hard front wig for Momo. Hard fronts are what most people consider regular wigs. It just means a wig that doesn't have lace. And I've seen plenty of Momo cosplayers use hard fronts, and they all looked great. Lace fronts just give you that extra level of realism because the lace creates the illusion that the hair is coming right out of your head. And Momo does have that little section where you can see her hairline, but I've seen most people just tuck their wigs behind their ears, and that looked totally fine. But like with any lace front, you gotta cut off the extra lace first. All lace fronts come with a ton of extra lace, which can be used for ventilating the wig, which means literally hand tying individual hairs to either create a new hairline or match yours. But I don't need to do that at all, and I don't have time for that. More importantly, this thing is curly, so my first step was to get rid of all those curls with my steamer, and I highly recommend a steamer over a straightener because the steamer gets much larger sections straight much faster and has zero chance of damaging the wig because water turns into steam at a lower temperature than it takes to damage Connectlawn, which is a common wig fiber, but this is an Orta, and they have, I think it's called Hyperlawn, and that just means it can take even more heat. But now that the wig was straight, I needed to see if the length was even going to work, but that led to other problems. I think she looks good, but here's the problem with shifting the wig to the side like this is now my ear, like, has nowhere to go. So now I'm having to, like, put the wig itself behind my ear, which is exposing my own hairline. I might have to, like, cut off a piece of this wig. Okay, I cut a little slit, like, through the elastic and then a little bit out of the netting. Miss Wig, can my ear come out and play? My ear has homework to do and it cannot come out and play. The funny thing is this was just supposed to be like, oh, let me try it on to see if the length is good. The length is good. The length is lengthing. Now I have to like cut a chunk off of this wig already and I just got started. And I'm not even at the hard stuff yet. This is the problem. But I did feel that this is about the point that I need to cut it off, so I'm just gonna cut this clip out and then literally cut this portion of the wig out. And I'm gonna like maybe taper it a little bit so that some of this lace stays in the front. This all has to go or else my ear cannot come out and play. And as always, to cut up a wig, you get your tiny baby scissors and you try really hard not to cut the actual hair. Would be more ideal to do this without my glasses on. That's much better. Look at that ear. She got done with her homework. She's ready to do a lemonade stand or something. What do kids do? No, I don't know. It has made the wig a lot looser, which is good for me because I have a giant head. And Arda wigs are big anyway, but now I gotta do the bangs, which I was so scared of doing. I actually did an entire practice wig. I did a wig mock-up. A wig mock-up. I did learn a lot from my practice wig, and this was, of course, one of those $10 map of beauty wigs from the old fabric softener video, and I felt like it even looked pretty good. The spikes were maybe too big, and the crimping was very noticeable, but the shape looked good, and it looked good enough on that I was kind of regretting purposefully doing this in the wrong color, because especially with cheaper wigs, if you entirely crimp them, the crimping kind of makes the shininess of that wig go away. But yeah, well, I'm doing this with a admittedly pretty expensive wig. You could totally do this with a $10 one if you bought it in brown. And I know learning through a wig mock-up isn't really feasible for people that don't have a literal linen closet full of wigs. But learning new creative skills by doing is possible on the largest online learning community for creatives and today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare has thousands of classes led by industry experts in everything from animation to illustration to film and productivity. I recently fell in love with a new program, Adobe Fresco, and I've been using it for all my little hand-drawn elements, including the frame-by-frame animated transitions you've been seeing in this video. And if you want to learn how to do that, Skillshare has you covered because you can search for classes by software and pretty quickly find what you're looking for. They also have lots of classes in Procreate. I know more of you are probably on that one. They have animation classes in Procreate. I just haven't used it because I've chained to Adobe. And with Skillshare's learning paths, once you have the basics down, you don't have to go searching for another class. Because the learning paths are curated sequential class collections that are designed to help you master a new skill. I've been taking this class called Always Drawing, How to Start and Keep a Daily Sketchbook by Mike Lowry. Because I want to get better at drawing, but then I go to do it, and if I don't have a reason to do it, then I don't. But you have to draw to get better, so this class is helping me actually get better by giving me something to do every day. So if you're interested, listen up, because the first 500 people to use the link in my description will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. For the actual wig, my goal was to minimize the crimping texture as much as possible, and maybe get those spikes a little bit thinner. But the trouble with Momo's bangs is that she's kind of got the standard dumb anime bangs, but they're split across her nose, and then they're topped with these teeny tiny spikes. And of course, an ahoge. But here's my process. First, I needed to tackle that dumb anime bangs part. I got myself a pretty large section to do the bangs with and clipped back the rest of the hair. Then I took these dumb anime bangs one teeny section at a time. And I did crimp the bottommost layers entirely. And I did the technique I've showed before where I take the comb and I go right through after I crimp it, so while it's still hot, and that kind of takes the texture out of it a little bit. And this time, I also tried to go in with my tiny baby straightener and try to get more of the crimping out, but that didn't really do anything. So most of the crimping hiding is going to be done with strategic sectioning, but you'll see that in a minute. For now, I took that crimped section and sprayed both the underside and its top with hairspray. I hit it with the blow dryer and moved on to the next layer. It was again very thin, and this one I only crimped the middle of it and left the sides straight.
I feel like this is too long. I feel like I should probably put this on my head before I do anything else, but I'll do this little section and then I'll put it on my head. But maybe it'll look right once I do the thing. Okay, I'll show you the thing, and then we'll see if this is wrong. Okay, gonna get my baby straightener. Gonna baby straightener it, just sort of shape it into that, which it's not really doing because I think it's too long. Here's the big important step. Spray the underside, spray the bottom, spray the top. Stick them together with the hairspray.
And blow dry them, because you always dry your hairspray.
Here's the magic that I discovered from the practice wig. Now that you have this like one shape, split it in half down at the bottom, and then just take one side over the other, like that. Yeah, you see what we just did? Okay, it's not gonna wanna stay. So what you do is you get your hair dryer and you heat shape it so that it stays like that. Might need to get the steamer to make it actually do that. I'm gonna get the steamer. Steamer just shapes stuff better. Ooh, pins, pins, pins. I need pins. Okay, here's the thing wig stylists do all the time that I never do, is use pins to make the stuff stay where it's supposed to. There, like that. Oop. Oop, like that. Okay, this is probably way too long, but that's fine. Okay. Oh, let me not put the steamer directly at this camera. Now this, and see, here we go. See, now that's really shaped. You're gonna pick this one up, spray it underneath, put that back down, spray it on top, hair dry it, and those should stay together. I'm gonna put it on my head though, so I know it actually is too long before I actually cut it. Yeah, that's way too long. The cross is in the right place. I've just made these too long. But if I take this down to where it looks like hers, I have done the length correctly. Ooh. And look, that's already like really staying together because we do those little sections and that makes it stick to itself. I'm gonna trim down my points with my weird thinning scissors. I think that's what you call these. Thinning scissors. Not ideal to cut it while it's already styled, but this is the bottommost layer, so might as well use this part to figure out how long it's supposed to be. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's what I was doing. Here we go. Now we've got our little guy. I'm gonna spray the absolute bejesus out of those points though. I'm gonna let down an even bigger section. Ooh, okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm gonna split this section in half. I am really just making this up as I go along. I know I did the practice wig, but I did not do this with the practice wig. So this section is not crimped. All I did was kind of shape it. I'm gonna spray this side and underneath here. And then I'm gonna take this half of the section and I'm gonna put it over top that hair and then pick that one back up and put it back over top of it. So now we've got nice smooth hair over the crimped hair. Some of it's not doing what I want it to, but that's okay. That's okay. Stay. We're gonna spray it, hair dry it. Now I'm gonna take this side that I didn't use and put it on top of the other piece. Hairspray under it, blow dry it. And we've got that weird little section. Now we have the actual spikes to do. There's so much hair up here. Do I need all of this? Now I gotta try to remember how I did the spikes because those were hard.
So before starting the spikes, I went through and steamed all of the hair in the upper section the opposite way that the spikes would be going, which I thought was gonna help me get the volume I needed to get them to stand up, but I completely undid all of this later. Anyway, it was time to face the spikes. And while on the practice wig, I just crimped everything and that put the whole wig into easy mode. I was trying to get this wig to be as smooth as possible, and I did that two ways. Strategic sectioning for these spikes here, and the old-fashioned way for the really small spikes.
I want a section big enough that I can like crimp part of it, but also small enough that it will be a tiny little spike. And honestly, my spikes might be a little bigger than they're supposed to be, but you know what? Who gives a shit? Now the problem is Arta wigs have all these little baby hairs. I'm gonna try to get those under control with the tiny baby straightener, and I'm gonna get all this stuff out of the way. Stay over there. My little section. And I'm gonna try to section off just the bottom of it. Uh-oh. And try not to fuck up everything I did yesterday. Tiny piece to be crimped. That took way longer than it needed to. Okay, I'm gonna crimp this. Crimp and comb. Crimp and comb. Gonna baby straighten it. There we go, there we go. That's looking like something right there. Gonna spray the bottom of it, spray the top of it. Kind of mush it together a little bit because it's kind of wide still. There we go, there we go. Hair dry it. Yeah, okay. Now I'm gonna spray underneath it, stick it down to the bangs, and simultaneously fix the stuff from yesterday that I just fucked up. Now I'm gonna get another little section. There we go. Not gonna crimp it this time. Shape it with the straightener, particularly the dumb Arta baby hairs. Try to get that to go where I want it to. That is sticking straight up. Now I'm taking both the crimped part and the uncrimped part, and I'm just gonna comb them both together. Yeah. Okay, and I'm just gonna use the heat of the straightener to get them warm and then kind of shape them like that.
Once I had the spike where I wanted it, I steamed it to really keep its shape, and of course, hairspray and blow dryer.
We've got a spike, one spike, and all this messy shit right here. Can you even see that? Look at that. What the f is happening? I'll figure it out later. I feel like with every wig, you have to clean so much stuff up.
Up next was the weird double spike, the one where you can they look like they're coming out of the same base. So I got a pretty substantial section and split out its middle.
See how I have like bananaed out the hair?
Then I would crimp just that inner section, steam it, and then grab the banana peel and comb it together with the crimped section. Then heat shape them until they looked like a spike. And then of course, hairspray, blow dry.
So now I'm gonna attempt to do what I did down here and take like half of this spike up here and split it off. And this one on the top is supposed to be shorter than this one, so I need to cut it a little bit. Ha ha ha, okay.
Then to really separate these two, I went with the old-fashioned spiking technique. Teasing.
Heat it up a little bit, comb it out. This is the traditional way of spiking. This is what we did before all of the crimping bullshit. I do like the crimping though, it does save a lot of time. And then you do that again. Tease it down, really pull it down, and then this is another thing I picked up. If you take this strand and you like pull, and then you take it the other way, split it and pull, that really pulls the teasing down because you want to get it down there because you don't want it like exposed. There we go. And then I think I'm gonna shape it with the steamer. The steamer really is like the best shaper. It gets everything really hot really fast. Now, they are supposed to be like one spike, so I'm gonna try to bring it back down into that spike. But ooh, look at her, look at her, look at her. There's so many flyaways everywhere, but I will fix those later. From what I've heard, you kind of just cut them off. Hairspray underneath, hairspray on top of the other spike, hairspray that whole spike, because I don't think I even did that yet. Push those into each other. I'm gonna go in and like really kind of smush them in. Blow dry them. But I still need that one little baby spike that goes kind of across. So I'm gonna do what I did with the other spike. Go ahead and get this teased and really pull that teasing down to the damn roots. Oh my God. And try not to fuck up everything I've done so far. Holy shit. Why is that the hardest thing about this? Where is my teasing brush? Where did I put it? Right in front of my face. Tease her. Tease her good. Tease her real good. Pull the teasing down. Pull it down real good. Don't fuck up the wig. That's the hard part. Heat up the teasing. Tease it again. Push the teasing down as far as you can and then smooth it out with your comb and then push the teasing down again. Got a good little rat going right there. The most important thing about doing the teasing is trying to get it to look smooth at the root at least a little bit, or else it's gonna look like shit.
But once it didn't look terrible, I shaped it, cut it, sprayed it, and blow dried it.
I've got a lovely another little spike.
Next up was the ahoge, and ahoge is a word for that one singular hair that's always out of place on so many anime characters' heads. And I'd be doing Momo's the same way I just did those other little spikes.
I'm gonna tease the shit out of it, pull the teasing down, heat the teasing up, comb the teasing out so that it's not ugly until it stands up on its own. Cut off hairs that are going places you don't want them to, and just let the top kind of fall and curl. Say it with me this time. Hairspray, blow dryer, and we've got almost a Momo wig. I'm gonna need to put it on my head to make sure it looks right because I'm scared it looks a little too rooster, but honestly Momo's hair is a little bit rooster. It's a little roostery. I think really I just need this stuff to go, yeah. I need this one to calm down. Yeah, I mean, it needs to be shaped a little better, but look at me. I'm ready to go fight aliens. Again, never steam anything on your own head, as tempting as it might be.
So to get away from rooster territory, all I really did was steam it and mess with it until it all calmed down. I brushed through a couple of the spikes again, trimmed out some of those ugly flyaways, and once the wig had completely left the avian kingdom, I stuck pins in it to hold the spikes where I wanted them, sprayed the bejesus out of them one more time, blow dried, and then steamed the crap out of them. And to finish her up, I got the little sideburn cut and shaped, and then to do the behind the ear pieces, I actually thought about gluing these back there, but then I decided to just swoop the hair behind itself and use a hair tie to keep them in place. Finally, to keep all of those spikes together forever, I tried a new to me glue that has been recommended to me so many times that I could no longer ignore it. Uhu. Uhu? Uhu. Yes, I finally got on the Uhu train, and I don't see me getting off anytime soon. I warn you though, this glue has fumes, bad fumes that are bad for your brain and your lungs, and that means if you use it, you need to be using it in a ventilated area and wear a respirator and gloves, or I will call your mom. So that's why I did this in my garage. Welcome back to my garage, by the way. Now, I will say I didn't give this glue a full test run. I'll get to do that on another project very soon, but from what I understand, it works similarly to contact cement. So I got the tips of these spikes coated to keep them together, and then got a little bit of glue on the wig where I wanted them to sit. I let that glue get tacky, and then I stuck them together. And it did seem like it was bonding on contact, so that's pretty cool to finally have found a clear contact cement that works well with wigs, one that everyone else found much earlier than me and that I just kept ignoring everybody about. But with that, I did my makeup live for my patrons, put on a Momo-inspired outfit because I haven't finished the cosplay yet at the time of recording this, and I got to see how I looked as a peach. Yo, Momo! I have been absolutely obsessed with Dandadan lately to the point that I am actually caught up on the manga, and I never read manga, so that says a lot. I'm also really happy that I went into this project wig first, because this is not the only Dandadan cosplay I have planned. And frankly, I'm a little more excited about the other one. And between the two, I dreaded this wig much more. So it feels really good to have this one done so I can move on to more ghostly paths. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel directly, you can check out my Patreon where you'll get some exclusive content like weekly live streams and monthly update videos. But if you're just watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, or sending the video to a friend or your mom, then you're supporting the channel too. So thank you. And the biggest thank you to my newest big support tier patrons: Seth, a double C, Atlas Martin, Ultimate Hamster Boy, Scott, Zed, Horror Child Cosplay, Aki Maki, Tox, Suki, Four-Eyed Cosplay, Uncomfortables, Somewhat Okay Cosplay, Izuki Cosplay, Gwendolyn, Alex Monstrous, Cool Beans, McBain, Jordan, Reneem, Pissed Off Protagonist, Butterheart, Anonymous, Jaden Vega, and Camo Cosplay. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!